Give me 1 second, y'all. Let me see here. All right. What's going on, YouTube? It's No Fuss Giving Trey back with another video. And now do you want to these okay, so when it comes to Pisces, the two fish, now I'm gonna explain in further regarding the two fish. Now, mind you, it's hot again, you guys. I don't know what's going on with the weather, but it's like heat wave after heat wave every day. It's been like extremely hot. So if you see me sweating, that's because of the heat wave. Okay, so how's everyone doing? So I'm gonna talk about the two fish of Pisces. I'm gonna explain it further that nobody talks about. So everybody has their own interpretation of the fish for Pisces. Okay, so as you guys know, that many astrologers they interpret the two fish as being the opposite forces. See, so it's it can represent opposite force with the same person. So the thing is, you have a duality situation going on. So as you guys know, the first fish is considered the dreamer, which represents the imagination, compassion, spirituality, creativity, hope, faith, and forgiveness. And the strengths are the fact that Pisces can inspire others just with this one fish. Uh, Pisces can see the possibilities, create art, music, and loves deeply. The weaknesses of this particular fish, they can idolize people, may overlook red flags, and can become overly self-sacrifice. So now the second fish is considered the survivor. So here it represents self-protection, intuition, experience, boundaries, emotional resilience, and walking away. Now, the strengths of the second fish are um, that the Pisces can learn from pain. Okay, so that is more related to the lessons behind it. Now, also another strength is that this particular fish within Pisces can, protect peace. So anything that would try to sabotage the peace of a Pisces, this would be the situation that will kick in for the Pisces to, protect their peace so it's not, disturbed or taken away from them. Also, they could become wiser through experiences. Now, weaknesses with the second fish is they could become guarded, may struggle to trust again, or they may just withdraw emotionally. Now, when we look at this fish swimming in different directions, okay, so as you guys know, as I said, things get iffy between the two fish because technically it's like, you know, two fish going in opposite directions. Now, what's what's happening here is the simple fact that the fish are pulling between different priorities. Okay, so here, let's say you have hope and then you have reality. So that would be a it would be an example of the pipes being pulled in different priorities. So when you have one side of you that gives, then the other side of you that protects yourself. Um, what's going on, Steve? Is it Stevert? I hope it's saying the name right. It's hot as a mug, man. I don't even understand why. It's just like I'm just sweating without even just sitting and breathing. Is like uh, forgiveness and then boundaries. Okay, forgiveness on one end, meaning one fish, and then boundaries on the other. So a Pisces can be conflicted this way because of the two. Now another thing is dreams on one end, and then practicality. Another one is trust and caution on the other side. So this is what a Pisces feels, when dealing with the world, dealing with people in the real, waking life. Now, there's also one side that could be emotions and then the other side logic. See, so a Pisces can interchangeably, go between the different priorities. That's what the two fish represent. Now, when you look at the symbol of Pisces, it suggests the ongoing balancing that takes place rather than permanent conflicts. At any time, things can change. So that's one thing. Now, let me see. Welcome, Joe Gorman. Welcome. I appreciate the subscription. Everyone else that haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe. I appreciate it. Okay, so now when you're a Pisces and you have this duality of interchangeably having the two fish going in opposite directions, causing the whole priority conflict. Now, what can show up here is like, let's say you could be in a situation where you want one thing, but then the other thing you want contradicts or goes against what you previously wanted. So let's say you want love, let's say you want a relationship, let's say you want to find someone, and then all of a sudden, at the same time, you need your space. So it's like this duality always is going, 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 going. So it's like you always want two things at one time. It's like you can't just do one thing because you feel like you're neglecting the other fish. It's like you can say I agree, and then at the same time you can either back out because you probably agreed just to certain things, but then once you start to come across some things, you're like, okay, no, I don't want to do that, or I don't want to commit to this because I was cool with doing this and this, but I'm not cool with doing that. And it's like that could be the situation. Now, another way it could show up is that you start to trust people, but at the same time you remain cautious. So it's like even if you say or feel like you trust someone, you may still watch them. And it's like sometimes if the person knows they can, they might say to you, Pisces, like, why don't you trust me? Or I thought we covered this already and you're still, cautious about me. Like, and it's like this is just what happens with Pisces because, like I say, you got the two fish going in opposite directions. So there's the two priorities that the Pisces must meet. See, in order to be, satisfied, in order to be content, in order to be safe, emotionally safe. So it's like if those two things are not met with Pisces, then it's not going to work. It's never going to work because it's going to always be these priorities that show up and they are conflicting. So you might have the Pisces say, okay, we can all go hang out together. And then a Pisces cancels plans. It's like, well, I thought you wanted to hang out. And then just subtly, the Pisces is like, at the same time, I don't want to hang out. Like what Pisces wants to do is pick and choose what they would like to do, but then they don't want to be caged or stuck into a situation that they did not want to do, or let's say, something you wanted them to do. They're like, no, I just only came because I wanted to eat. But now you guys are doing something extra. Now I don't want to do it. So you got to be careful because this could come off as being wishy-washy when you agree one moment and then you come across something within the bid or the contract, not a real contract, but it's like it could be a contract. But I'm just saying, like, once you come across something you don't like about the plans that were made, you just instantly can just pivot back and not go. You could be like, yo, I wanted to go, but you guys said we have to wear a Speedo, and I'm not putting a Speedo on, so I'm not gonna be able to go. But it's like after everyone, bought the tickets already, planned the trip, and it's like now you're saying you're not going. So it's like little things like that. Now, it can also show up where you dream big, but at the same time, you fear the disappointment at the same time. You could also forgive someone and then still remember everything as if you're still on that, like as if you basically didn't forgive. Now you can help others out. You can help others without wanting to be taken advantage of. That might be something where you only help someone in your own way that prevents you from being taken advantage of, because you might know it's when you give more than one ride. Or, for instance, if someone wants a ride, you just have your own way of helping someone without being taken advantage of. So you're always going to do it in your own way. And people get confused because they might not understand what you're trying to avoid, or something that you may be worried about. Even if you're not worried about it, it's just that people can tell that you gotta, you're thinking about something. And then when it has to do with them, they're like, oh, what's going on? Oh, nothing. I'll just gonna drop you off, and then I got stuff to do. I got my whole day. And that's you reinforcing the boundary. When you explain how, if you were to explain it like that, you would be like, oh, well, I got stuff to do. And you're basically just trying to insinuate that, hey, don't ask me for no extra stuff because I'm not available. And a lot of times you might even have a Pisces be mean. They might not necessarily be mad at you or anything, but they may have an attitude just because they only are going to do that one favor, and then after that they're going to do something else. But they don't tell you that that's the plan. It's like you just go along with it, and then as soon as you try to like ask, the Pisces is like, nope, 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 I'm not doing nothing else. This was just a one-time ride thing. Nope. And the Pisces has this type of situation that they can always feel like someone's going to try to take advantage of them when they actually do show, a helping hand. So let's say it's a Pisces woman, and let's say she has, her kids. Let's say she's not an empty nester. Let's say she has like 18-year-olds living with her. She might charge them rent because they're of age, and she doesn't want them to take advantage of her, thinking, oh, this is my mom or this is my dad, like, oh, they'll just let me stay with them. And no, Pisces, will literally, they won't enable you. They will be like, okay, well, until you find a place, you just pay me a certain amount per month. And it's like, you just can't stay here for free, because this is not, it could be a situation where the Pisces feel like, I'm not raising you up, to be dependent on folks. And sometimes it's just the mere fact that a Pisces might feel taken advantage of if they do give you all these, you know, special things like a place to stay, and it's not on the floor, and they pretty much putting you up. They will want something in return so they don't feel like they're being taken advantage of, if that makes sense. And a lot of times that's the whole reasoning why Pisces doesn't want to be, having or hosting things at their house, or having their things, in someone else's plans. Because sometimes, even if a Pisces goes out of town, they may just want to get a rental. But sometimes, if they have a nice car, or let's say they got a nice van that has 8 seats, some people start making plans with Pisces stuff like, oh, we'll ride with you, and then my grandma or my friend can come along because you got 8 seats. And the Pisces is like, I didn't plan on driving my car. No, I didn't plan on driving my car. So you're making plans with my shit. And it's like, no, we're not driving my car. I was actually gonna get a rental. And you see, so that's the little things that Pisces is like, when they want to take a flight, they usually just want to go alone. Because one thing with Pisces, going into an airport, and it's already hectic and chaotic. Sometimes it can be, busy. And if you tag along and you're like causing like just distractions and delays, they're gonna be like, no, this is just a one-time thing. It'll never happen again. Like, I would never take a flight with you ever again because of what happened. See, it's like, so just know, one good thing with Pisces as well is that when they don't like something, that is the final time. See, they don't allow it to turn into a pattern. So it's like, if you embarrass them, you do something one time, that's the last time you do it, because the Pisces is gonna say, no, me and you are not good, flight partners. I can't take a flight trips with you no more. No more going to the airport with you because I'm telling you, a lot of times they have a certain way of how they, get on the plane, how they, get the stuff they need. And then if they feel like, oh, they're late, rushing, they're going to be like, nope. And especially if it's because of you, they ain't going to like it. See, now, another thing is this. So, another thing that can show up is that a Pisces can want peace, but then at the same time, they can stand up when it's necessary. So, let's just say if something happens where it's like, let's say it's an altercation or something happen, some type of confrontation happens, then the Pisces might just want things to settle down, and to become peaceful again. But the Pisces will stand up when it's necessary. So some people might say, well, damn, why are you not doing nothing? Pisces, this person is yelling at you, yelling in your face, doing this, doing that. And the Pisces is like, okay, it's a certain time when I'm gonna say something. But right now I'm just waiting because you understand Pisces is picking up on everything in this environment. Everybody like security, everything. So they like, okay, before I say something, let me think before I say something because most people don't think before they say something. And then they just say something, it escalates into a fight, and then it's like once the damage is done and people get fined or arrested, it's too late to start, to think about it. Now, another thing that can show up is the Pisces craving closeness, but at the same time protecting their privacy. So it's like this is why I said this is the difference between Pisces and Gemini, bro. They are not the same, even though they have the mutable thing going. It's just that one's air, one's water, but they are completely different. And I'll talk about that, later at the end of the live. But one thing is that you got the twins, and then when you got two fish going in opposite directions, that's just like it's very hard for other people to depict or to focus or gauge. My fault, y'all. I was doing Uber Eats, but yeah, it's like for a person to gauge or just focus on what the Pisces wants. See, it's like they want to know what you want, Pisces, and then you're like, you basically answer twice. It's like you have the duality within. You understand yourself, and things are not complicated for you to understand your actions, but to other people as they perceive you, they get confused because you could be like, yeah, I want someone, I want to be in a relationship, but then at the same time, you're like, I don't want anyone getting too close to me. So it's like you might not even let people get close to you to even start a relationship, but at the same time you want one, but then it's like you have the conflict because the fish going opposite directions where at times you do want it, but then as you start to think about it, you be like, oh, but you're doing this all in the same time that you're saying you want a relationship. But then as you start to think about all the extra, the possibilities, then you start saying, wait a minute, nah, I don't really know if nah, I don't no, I don't want a relationship. Because you start to look at like things that come with it and the things that you don't expect to come from it. So you start to say, well, yeah, I want one, but I just if it's gonna be all that other crap involved in it, I don't want it. So that's why you're very selective with what you want to do, who you want to hang with, where you want to go. You gotta do it on your terms. And that could come off as being, I understand self-righteous, it could come off being arrogant, could come off being, that's what people will tend to look at you as because they're like, who do you think you are? Because you're doing two things at once. But that's why you gotta let a Pisces just do their thing, bro. Because if you try to change, one thing you cannot do with Pisces is make them do something like in a controlled manner to where you're trying to make them snap out of it or make them change their mind. If they want to do something, they're going to do it regardless of any suggestions or any type of like what you think about it. they're still gonna do what they want to do at the end of the day. So that's why you gotta let a Pisces just be a Pisces and let them have their, things on their terms. Because I'm telling you, if you don't, then it becomes a secret. Then I'm gonna tell you what can happen is if you don't respect a Pisces boundaries, then what tends to happen is the Pisces will start saying one thing like, "Hey, I'm on my way," and then all of a sudden you're waiting for the Pisces, and then you were like, "Yo, let me call and see where he's at. What's taking so long, dude? You said that like 25 minutes ago," and then the Pisces is like, "Yo, I'm on the highway," and you hear like, "Are you driving?" And it's like, "Wait a minute, I thought you," and the Pisces like, "I'm almost there, man." But then it's like you start realizing the Pisces is not coming, bro. It's to the point where they're telling you I'm on my way, but they're at the same time, it's taking even longer to where are you on your way? And guess what? A Pisces could be on their way but parked and trying to decide whether or not should I even show up, depending on what it is. Oh, let's say we got to meet, and I've done this before. This is why I know it's true. I've done this several times where let's say I want to buy something on Facebook Marketplace, and I'm just real suspicious of who I'm buying something from. I'll tell the person, "Hey, I'm on my way," but I'm actually there already. But I'm actually watching the surroundings and watching who pulls in, who pulls out, because I don't trust just show up and then someone's waiting for you and it's like, "Yeah, I'm in the blue car," and they're like, "Yeah, I'm in the yellow sedan." It's like, no, I need to see action and see who's there first, because I'm not finna put out my surroundings and what I'm doing. No. So it's just like little things where you gotta be careful. And that type of behavior comes out of a Pisces when you don't respect their boundaries. So if you get upset when they say something and do something else, you're in for a long ride, bro. You in for a long ride, because that's gonna go on forever, bro. It's not gonna change. And I'm gonna tell you, like, a Pisces can say, "Damn, I have I could, sure go for an ice cream cone or something, right?" And then all of a sudden, they can instantly just be like, "Nah, I don't, nah, nah, I don't want the ice cream. I'm just gonna get like a smoothie or something." But it's like Pisces can mention something where everybody's like, "Oh yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, we should." And then a Pisces instantly at the same time is like, "Maybe I just get a smoothie instead." Or they might say something completely different to where, "You know what? A butter burger stew sounds pretty good." And they're like, "Wait a minute, you just said something about ice cream, and now you're talking about a butter burger." And it's like, how did you go from ice cream to a sandwich? It's like, you gotta understand the Pisces has both of them things on their mind, fam. And guess what? You're in for a long ride if you think, oh, you're gonna stop them from getting both, bro, because they will get the ice cream cone and then they will get the smoothie at the same damn time. They gotta have both, because I'm telling you, the fish, see, I'm not trying to make it sound like and I know it may sound like that. See how I'm doing it at the same time? I'm doing the same shit I'm telling y'all, I'm doing the same thing. It's like a Pisces has a dual sense. So when you dealing with two fish, it's always about what do both fish want. So if one fish didn't get a chance to decide, you best believe as soon as the first fish gets what he or she wants, the other fish is like, "Wait a minute, let me get a Lunchable." And it's like, "Oh yeah, let me stop at the grocery store real quick and grab a Lunchable. I don't know why I'm getting it, but maybe I might need it later." That's just, I'm telling you guys, that's just how unpredictable a Pisces can be, bro. To where at any moment something just can just happen, or they just come up with a plan out of nowhere to where they could be working and then do something else, like right at the same time. Like me, when I work, I multi-app. So it's like soon as I take one order, I take another order over here, and now I got two orders with two different phones and two different jobs, and it's like I'm just. But this is the thing. As I said, it's not hard for a Pisces, bro. But when you see a Pisces multi doing too many things at once, and you trying to figure it out, you're gonna get confused. because you're gonna be like, yo, how are you doing that and then you're doing this too? Sometimes I don't know if you guys ever done this, but I drive with just my feet and my knees. People don't know how to do that. It's a skill. But anyway, I'm not saying to try that. I'm just letting you guys know just how uh multitask Pisces can be, where they do multiple things. It's like at one time. They could be reading and then doing something else. It's like you are never gonna just be able to get them and just doing one thing. See? Now another thing that could show up is that a Pisces can feel some type of way deeply, and at the same time, they can try to stay composed. See, they can believe in people while noticing the warning signs. At the same time, they can want adventure, but then appreciate being at home. At the same time, they could also speak from the heart, but then at the same time, they think before they act. Now, another thing is they can hold on to hope. God damn, they can hold on to hope while learning from experiences. At the soul, they can see, that's the thing. Like, you see, and I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't like the whole backing out thing that that most times a Pisces can do, where like I say, they join something, they end up not doing it. It's like, and it all depends on how people behave once a Pisces does something. If it's too much energy involved, too many people focused on what the Pisces gonna do, the Pisces is gonna back out, bro. Like, because that's gonna, anytime the Pisces sense that there's control at hand, oh, what are you doing, Pisces, or where you're going? And it's like, as soon as you start paying attention too much, or you're too focused, and you start magnifying glass of Pisces behavior or their decisions, and you're like trying to follow it behind them, like, oh, what are you doing, where you going? And it's like, nah, the Pisces is like, I'm good, I ain't doing it, because that person is too intentional at the moment, to where the Pisces don't trust it. Like, what are you getting so excited about? What are you getting so questionable about what I'm doing, so much to where it's not even natural? So that's just one thing. Now, a Pisces can balance compassion and self-respect at the same time. They can learn when to let go, and usually they mentally, emotionally detached before they let go of you. So you might think that the Pisces is going to be, hurt about a situation. And yes, they probably were hurt about it, but months ago. They've already grieved, they've already healed from whatever it was that they found out that was going on, under their nose. So when you think oh, they're going to be messed up when I tell them this, they're probably so happy to let you go that you just relieve them to to peace, true peace again. So it's like, sometimes a Pisces is like, you know what, I don't mind being with you, but when you slipped, when you messed up, I'm not taking you back. See, and that's the thing, like, a Pisces can do. So they can also turn a painful experience into wisdom. They can stay creative during difficult times. They can accept change with honoring the past. So those are some things to look at. Now, here's the thing. Most people thought that the two fish that, going in opposite directions will fight each other. And no, that's not the case. So one thing that the two fish represent, like I say, it's a reminder that life oftentimes pulls us in different directions. So the growth, it comes from learning how to balance compassion with wisdom. See, and then the dreams with reality, because you can't do them separate. You can't say, oh, I got a dream of this and that, but then if it's not realistic, it's definitely not going to work. And see, it teaches a Pisces to have an open heart with healthy boundaries. So you got to have two things going on. If you're going to have one thing, if you're going to have logic, you got to have, healthy boundaries. You got to have one thing, then have something else. So it's like, all we're really saying is, when you eat dinner, you gotta have the food, the drink, and then the silverware. So it's like, This is just for the Pisces to survive in itself. Now, this also teaches us that a Pisces has to connect with themselves, see, and do the inner work to even get to the point where they have the silverware, the actual plate of food and the drink that comes with it. See, to make sure everything goes down smoothly. That's what I'm basically saying. So another thing is this: when people say that a Pisces is like a chameleon, so one thing about the chameleon-like type of situation is that refers to a Pisces adaptability. So the only way a Pisces can adapt to someone else or another environment, they have to know who they are. See, they have to know what their purpose is. They have to have identity. You can't adapt to anything without identity. So when it comes to a Pisces adapting to a situation, this is how they're able to adapt to different environments that and I'm gonna tell you, even if the Pisces has no interest in these environments, just wherever the Pisces is placed, let that sink in. Let that sink in. So you might think, oh yeah, this Pisces is out of his comfort zone or out of his neck of the woods. You could put a Pisces anywhere, and next to they blend in as if they've always been working there, knowing these folks, and they just got there. See, because if something's chameleon like, you miss the whole fact that it's even there. You like, wait a minute, like since when did you come over? Since when did you start working here, or since when did you start hanging out here? I ain't even see you because you blend in and adapted so quick that now it looks like you always been working here. See, so a Pisces, that's one thing. Then a Pisces also mirrors the emotional tone around them. So that's how a Pisces can match your energy, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you interact and socialize with the other crew members or staff. The Pisces picks up on that tone, applies it to their own tone, and switch it up so that way it matches the environment. So that's why I said you might start wondering, damn, how does the Pisces how did he just catch on so fast and everybody likes him all of a sudden, because all he did was match their energy. See, he matched their energy, their tone. That's why I said a Pisces can steal your personality. They can steal your personality and apply it to their own, and do it in their own way. So it's not malicious. It's just saying that they can, you listen to how you speak, and they're like, okay, I see your mannerisms. I see how those two are interacting and what they're discussing. So I'm gonna, I'm gonna use that. And now, boom, soon as Pisces starts to, talk like Frank and Andre about, let's say they work at a power tools company. Next thing you know, you're like, yeah, man, I got a 18, and I had the little extension. Don't you know? And then the Pisces starts to adapt, and then all of a sudden, now the Pisces is involved in that conversation. See, and it's like, you ain't even know nothing about no damn power tools and stuff until you started being around these people. Because one thing, if you put a Pisces around a group of people in a different environment, the Pisces knows that they're a Pisces. They know, appreciate the gift, Bryson, the flower. The thing about it is that the Pisces knows that they are a Pisces. They know who they are, but you don't, because they blend in. See, they blend into crowds. They blend into wherever you put the Pisces. You could literally put a Pisces in prison. I'm not, God forbid. I'm just using this as an example. You could put a Pisces in a prison, and then I swear, look up, next to it's almost like the Pisces knows every goddamn body in there, all the shenanigans, like as if they own the place. And you could literally go there to visit and not even notice the Pisces. You would be like, wow, I didn't even know you were here. You look like one of the inmates. That's just how fast the Pisces can go into a situation, plain clothes, and now all of a sudden they're hip to the lingo and how the prisoners engage with one another, and it's like that quick. So that's the thing about you got to be careful, because I'm gonna tell you another thing. A Pisces can mutate through they through alchemy. Let's say you got pets. A Pisces can take your damn pet, because even how you train your dog, or or your whoever, whatever pets you have, the Pisces can really use the same old tone that you use. And then, now they're telling your dog to sit and do this, and hand, and high five and whoop de woo. And it's like the dog just started listening. The craziest thing I've seen is that a dog will actually follow a Pisces. And being the owner, the owner's looking like, wait, he's never done this before. It's like the dog trying to go home with the Pisces. It's like, man, yo, come get y'all dog, bro. And it's just the whole thing is that even sometimes the owners are surprised, like their pet never behaved like this before. So it's like, what did you do to my dog? So it's like, no, I didn't do anything. Like, it's just the way that animals, for some odd reason, they love Pisces, because it's the whole when it comes to the emotions, the way, see, you gotta understand, a Pisces can approach a person or a dog situation, even a fish in the aquarium. I'm gonna tell you, I've seen people that have pet turtles, bro, and they literally can rub the turtle, in certain places and not get bit. And they literally talk to their turtle, and their turtle is like, their turtle understands them, like what they're saying, their emotion, whoop de woo. And that's crazy. And then it's like, but if someone else comes around, it'll literally try to bite their finger off. And it's like, damn, you don't do that with me, because you actually got a what? Connection. See, that's the thing. That's why I say Pisces is connected to everything. Now, a Pisces will evolve through life experiences. Um, they learn by observing others, and they may feel pulled between different parts of themselves. They can also um often understand different perspectives, and this is how this is how they are the chameleons of the zodiac. So they can connect with many different personality types. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter. You could be way off in India somewhere. I guarantee you, if a Pisces comes with you or is there, you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. That, oh, damn, this person is new. I'd never seen this person before, because they would learn the language. Even I'm gonna tell you how quickly a Pisces will catch on, because they will hear the words that's being used, and then they'll start to put two and two together, like, oh, that's what that means, or even the basics, and then they're like, oh, konnichiwa. They might just say something, let's say they're not in India, and they're just like, yo, konnichiwa, and it's like, oh, hello. It's like, yeah, dang. And then people would get surprised and be like, damn, how the hell you knew that? Or you basically talking more like us now. You must been with us too long. See, so it's like in those cases. Now, another thing is when it comes to the emotional aspect, being a chameleon. Now, the thing is that a Pisces, they can deeply empathize with others, animals, no matter what it is. See, they oftentimes absorb the mood of the room. That's why they catch on so fast to everything. So they can notice emotional shifts quickly. They can know that the dog is angry. They can know if certain things, like they can read emotions like crazy, to where you be like, damn, how the hell you know how the dog feels? And the Pisces can. They're like, yeah, I know your dog is tired, or your dog is hungry, whoop de woo, or it could be any little situation. Appreciate the gold coin, Luigi. Um Now it's crazy. What's these Star said they do that with the tortoise. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like they know exactly how to handle pets, and it's like they have this connection. See, it's like energy. So that's why sometimes you could be in a situation, except a crocodile hunter. Now, I ain't gonna mention him, but he was a Pisces, and he pulled something that was, remember I said, you cannot use the see, you cannot misuse the intuition. You got to be very careful. Like even if you could get on the alligator's back and not get bit, but when you start veering off into other things, him with the situation with the stingray, see, you just got to look at the facts. It's too dangerous, but it's the thing that, some people want to be, gutsy, risky. And like I say, I mean, shout out to Crocodile Hunter, bro, but it's just a mere fact. Like, bro, you should have known it was a stingray, bro. Like, come on, man. Like, I believe it was a stingray or electric eel. It was one or the other. My fault. But the whole thing is like you didn't look at the whole like risk factor involved. It was too risky to do what the little stunt that he did, because he would have still been here had he not, been in the situation that he got, himself into. Now, another thing is, see, a Pisces can, put other people's needs before their own. They can also hide pain to keep the peace. They can oftentimes forgive easily. They can feel emotions intensely, and they can become emotionally overwhelmed by it. And they may oftentimes retreat to recharge. So they may oftentimes seek meaningful connections altogether. Now, one thing about the social aspect to it with the whole how would a Pisces socialize in a situation is that I'm gonna just turn this little Uber thing off, y'all. My fault. I didn't expect that this was gonna be I really thought it was gonna be slow. But anyway, um socially, the Pisces can fit into different friend groups. So this is why Pisces can have so many different types of friends, like weird ones. It could be good ones, nice ones. It could be any type of person that you would never expect a Pisces to speak with. It's like, damn, how do you have these friends and then I've never seen you with these friends? So that you got to know that Pisces can fit into different friend groups. They can talk with many different personality types. They can adjust their communication style. They oftentimes can avoid unnecessary conflicts. They can read body language well. They notice social dynamics. They also know when to listen, and they know when to speak. They may seem quiet in new settings. They become more expressive once they're comfortable, and they may value authenticity. So that's all about, connected to the social aspect. Now, the love aspect, and this is all tied within the chameleon. See, it's like everything blends in together, but see, it's so many different dynamics that come with it that makes it that much more powerful. See, so with the love, is that the Pisces, they oftentimes seek emotional depth. They enjoy the meaningful conversations. They appreciate genuine affection. They remember the small details. They value loyalty. They may idolize, partners. They can oftentimes hope for the best. They can become, very devoted. They appreciate emotional honesty, and they oftentimes give second chances. Now, in the creative aspect, a Pisces can imagine the possibilities. Now, don't get this mixed up with overthinking, because it could look the same. It could feel the same. But just because a Pisces is, imagining the possibilities to a situation, sometimes people may oftentimes observe you doing this and be like, oh, you're overthinking it, but you're really just being creative about it. Now, at times, creatively, you can enjoy storytelling. You could oftentimes express yourself, creatively. You can also appreciate music, art, the symbolism. That's another thing that Pisces is real good at. So let's just say there was a lamp, you know, and it's in the sky, and then all of a sudden a Batman symbol just showed up. Pisces will recognize, like, yo, what the hell is that doing up there? Little symbols is just, a Pisces can know like different symbols and be like, oh, I know what that is, and I know what that means, and I know what this means. Like I remember going to a neighborhood way, way, way in the boonies. I was doing a delivery, and I seen I forgot the name of it, but I actually did know the name. But it was that one flag with the X, the X with the stars on it. And then once I seen that flag, I said, oh hell no. But it's crazy. As soon as I seen the flag, I hurry up, drop the order off. I ain't even ring the doorbell. I just put the order, took the picture, and left. I'm like, I ain't no, because you gotta understand the flag was huge. It was like literally covering up the garage. And I was just like, oh hell no. But it's crazy that I already knew that what it was or related to that made me just hurry up and leave. But that's crazy because most people miss things like that. They might not, they might see a symbol of some kind and they're like, oh, that's just like if you in the hood and you see a vice lord symbol or like a gangster disciple GD, you know, with the forks up. You like, okay, this is a neighborhood where the G's be like, you know, like it's just the Pisces just catches on to things, like even if they're not in that stuff or interested. Now, another thing, see, the Pisces oftentimes they can talk in riddles. That's another key factor. They also can, you know, thinking metaphors. They can they are drawn to beauty. They oftentimes explore different ideas and they adapt creatively. Now, a Pisces also enjoys daydreaming. See, you know how some people they go to a sauna or they just sit in a hot sauna and they, you know, enjoy it. It's like that's how a Pisces is with the daydreaming. So it's like you don't really know what a Pisces is doing when they're daydreaming. Sometimes they might look off into nothing and it's like, damn, I wish I could you know, go there too or look over there and get the same feeling. But some people are looking at you like, damn, you know, are you okay? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm just, you know, right now I'm just relaxing. But you gotta understand that, like I said, trying to understand a Pisces when you're not one, you're going to get confused. Now, another thing is that there's this situation. A lot of times you hear astrologers say, oh, Pisces represents all the zodiac signs. Um, as you guys know, we have resemblances or traits. Now, the thing about it is, no, the Pisces doesn't have the sun. They're not the sun sign, obviously, of those signs. They just have traits. Now, the thing about it is, it comes down to like Professor Xavier from X-Men, in other words. It's like if you guys know about Professor Xavier of X-Men, he knew everything about all the traits and all the behaviors of all the X-Men. See, because he technically took care of them in, you know, in the school. So it's like he knew the temperament of Wolverine. He knew like the stories, the traumas that came with it makes him do certain things. And it's like he always knows what everybody needs to work on. So the thing with Pisces is Pisces understands Aries' confidence. See that? It's like the healing that must happen in order for that Aries to transform. Pisces has the secret. Pisces has that that knowledge that Aries needs, because this is the thing. If you guys ever watched Naruto, okay, and one of the characters in the cartoons like anime, kind of like it was a video game, in other words. But it's like there's a dude in there that will I'm not really too fond of all the names, so you know, quote me if I'm wrong. But it's like one of the characters he was structured with bones, right? So next thing you know, the Pisces knew, and he knew the bone that he told him not to use, that it is not effective. Like it won't make you win a certain battle against another, you know, person. And don't you know, he told him the bone, I have the bone, like I have what you need to win, but the one you have is not gonna work. So you know what to do? He didn't listen to the Pisces, bro. Which more? How many people do you know that don't listen to Pisces advice and then you end up seeing their downfall? Like I told you. So next thing you know, the dude goes into battle. Mind you, he went against a Capricorn. Now the craziest thing with Capricorn is that you don't want to get into an altercation with a Capricorn like once they are structured, once they have everything going, like put it like this. I'm talking about when they up in status, they already got like the big, you know, everything already, you know, put it like this, they got their shit together. You don't want to come up against them when they're on the up and up, and then you're trying to go there with them. It ain't gonna work. you gotta have that bone. See what I'm saying? You got to have that secret sauce. Now, the thing about it is, don't you know, when he went up against, and guess what his sign was? The dude that didn't take the Pisces advice about the bone, Scorpio. He literally thought he was gonna win, and he lost. And know what he lost from? Because he didn't have enough strength in that bone, bro. And guess what? The craziest thing about this is that he had a vision in the middle of him losing. It's like he had that little, oh, the same conversation that he had with the Pisces like long ago that told him, you're not going to win with that bone. You got to use this one. This is the only way that you can win. This is the only way that you could beat such and such. And then it was just so crazy because he started crying, and it was just like he didn't listen because he thought, see, when a Pisces tell you something, it doesn't register, it doesn't click because it may not exist yet. It's like Steve Jobs has this iPad and it hasn't come out yet. It's just like, yo, look what I created. Look what I have. See, this will make it easy for you to, you know, go read or do whatever you. I know you got a Kindle, but this is better. You could read and do this and stuff. You don't, it's very portable. And then a person is like, nah, I think I'll stick with my Kindle because they don't believe in the Pisces creativity to the point where they think it'll be that big, like that universal to where, oh, what you have is not even out yet. And then just look at Pisces like, oh, like what you got going ain't shit. And then all of a sudden, it blows up into a huge thing to where now it exists. And it's like, it's forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. But when a Pisces try to get your attention and tell you, hey, this is the future, you didn't even give them credit. You just blew them off like, oh, man, yeah, okay, well, yeah, I'm not doing that, yeah. And that's what I'm trying to tell you because Pisces literally has that thing for you, for the other signs that they need to, and I'm going to tell you why. Because what is the stumbling block for most signs, especially Aries, is that Aries doesn't understand their confidence. They think that they're supposed to chase after what they want. You're not supposed to chase after what you want all the time. And especially you can't chase money, you can't chase fame, you can't chase. And see, Aries jumps before realizing, oh, was this the right move to take? See? So with Pisces, how they resemble with Aries is they understand the Aries confidence. They also appreciate Taurus's comfort. See? And this is the conversation that a Pisces will oftentimes have with each sign. It will be about these particular topics. To where, oh yeah, I like your house, and yeah, man, you got a nice sofa, and whoop de woo, and yeah, man, I see you, and you real comfortable here. And it's like Pisces, like, yeah, I might have to check into this for myself. It's like in those type of moments. Now, the thing about it with Gemini is that the Pisces enjoys the conversation with Gemini. See, because sometimes what Gemini is good at is they're very lighthearted. See, they're very funny. They're very you know, excited. They have this type of vibe that, let's say you were just like down in the dumps, that can, brighten your day, make you laugh, make you feel like, oh, rejuvenated. Now, when it comes to Cancer, a Pisces values Cancer's nurturing. When it comes to Leos, the Pisces recognizes the Leo's heart. So every single strength of each zodiac sign, Pisces embodies. Notice I said the strengths, the confidence. See, Pisces has the confidence of an Aries. See, they can have the same one. They can have Taurus's comfort. They can have Gemini's conversation like I'm doing now, yapping, yap every damn day. Yep, just like a Gemini. Mind you, I got Black Moon Lilith in Gemini anyway, so you already know I'm going to have the intensity, the extremities of Gemini. See, now, another thing that Pisces will have the strength of Cancer's what? Nurturing, Leo's heart, Virgo's attention to detail, Libra's harmony, Scorpio's intensity, Sagittarius curiosity, Capricorn's determination, Aquarius originality, and Pisces. See, how does a Pisces relate to another Pisces? Well, they both have just the natural flow. See, so you take all of that and put it into one person. It's cold blooded. See, and that's why when you look at everything, it's just the Pisces. It's all good, good, good business. It's all good things. The Pisces, it's not saying that, oh, I hate you about this, I hate you about that. No, it's all love. It's like, oh, I appreciate, the value. I appreciate, your nurturing. So as Pisces embrace these strengths of these other zodiac signs, that should tell you something. It gives you the same hope that a Pisces can heal these other zodiac signs. See? So now we're going to get into the extremes. So when you look at Pisces and the difference between the Scorpio and the Pisces, well, Scorpio is all about intensity, but with Pisces is about the extremes. So if you have something in its extreme, this is Pisces. See? Now, on one end, you have a Pisces that could be very trusting, but at the same damn time, the Pisces can be very cautious, just as much. And this ain't on a little small miniature light scale. This is on a huge scale. So they can be very trusting to where they can trust a guy that's just friendly for the moment and say, damn, okay, you need a ride? All right, I'll drop you off down the street. Boom. See how that's very trusting? But at the same damn time, the Pisces is very, 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 very cautious. So while they're dropping that guy off, they're clutching. See? They got the pistol right in the middle console and they're itching for it. Like, oh, better not try it. Better not try it. So just as nice as the Pisces came off, and very trusting, they're very, very cautious at the same damn time. So could you imagine a Pisces trust you, give you the love? I'll drop you off, but then I'll also cut you off. I will actually use this because I actually got hey, I ain't trying to condone this and like I say, but I actually do got me a little blade. See, you got me a nice little blade. So I got to keep my little gadgets on me. But anyway, that's the extremes. See? Because that is way worse than the intensity. See? Because if you look at the extreme, you don't know how far the Pisces gonna go with it. See? Now, the next thing, a Pisces can be very, very social, but at the same time, they can need solitude. See? Just as much as they want to socialize is the same, very much they want to be by themselves. So that's why a Pisces will go to the crowd of people at the party, the venue, the baby shower, whatever. But it might be for 10 minutes, 15, depending on how they feel. And then next you know, they go sit in their car. And it's like, yo, the party is inside. It's not outside. Pisces is like, I don't give a damn. I'm sitting in my car just because I want to. See? So that could be the situation. Appreciate the hearts, you guys. Now, another thing is Pisces can dream big, but at the same time, they can seek reality. Because if them dreams is not realistic, guess what? They ain't gonna do that shit, bro. So that's why it's like, yeah, they dream big, but guess what? They're like, okay, what makes sense right now? That's why Pisces, if they go off to college, they're gonna pick the thing that pays the most, bro. Become a nurse, a doctor. A Pisces is gonna do something at the extreme of it. They're gonna go all out. If they go to school, they're gonna go to become a nurse. They ain't gonna half-ass it. They not gonna go to school just to become a early childhood, daycare teacher. Nah, not like, and I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. I'm just saying they'll go for the juggler. They'll go for the most extreme 4-year, they'll try to take it all the way up. See? Now, and mind you, they'll do that the first time. See? Now, another thing is a Pisces can give endlessly, but at the same time, they can protect their boundaries. See? So that comes with what? I'll give you a ride, but guess what? I'm not giving you one tomorrow. It's cold blooded. See that? Now, everything of which I mentioned, what is in between both of the extremes? Guess what's in between both of the extremes? The Pisces. Meaning the Pisces is always going to do both because that is the balance, you guys. See, the rod, some people call it the rod, the spiritual cord, that's the balance. That is the balance. So it's always going to be balanced. And guess what? The Pisces doesn't have to balance shit. It automatically does it for them. See, because it's going to, even if a Pisces has, I'm going to say it like this, even if a Pisces is forgiving, they will forgive you, but at the same time, it's balanced to walking away. And that's why people go from smile to frown. Oh, you forgive me? Oh, thank you so much. But, oh, you're done with me for good forever? Yes. Oh my God. That's so extreme. That is ridiculous. Well, you shouldn't have done it. See, that's the thing. What you gotta see, you gotta know that the duality exists. Now, another thing, a Pisces can be very hopeful. And at the same damn time, they can want acceptance. See, you gotta know it's so many different things, bro. This ain't like just 10 things. This is a whole bunch of stuff, bro. A Pisces can be gentle, but at the same damn time, they can be firm. That's just like knowing when to hold a baby the right way. And then, okay, once the kid becomes of age, now you disciplining them. So you know exactly how to handle a situation, how it's supposed to be handled. You know when to be gentle, but at the same time, you know when to be firm. And see, you don't think, people think that, oh, you're only supposed to be one way, do one thing. No. See, you can kill two birds with one stone. Now, here's the thing, a Pisces can be calm, but at the same damn time, they could be deeply emotional. That could be, oh, you could see a Pisces being calm, minding their own business at a Starbucks, just sipping on a latte or some hot apple juice with a little bit of a whipped cream, and then they just mind their own business, and somebody comes in there and passes gas. A Pisces gonna say, what the F are you doing? This is not a freaking bathroom, dude. See how they could just become deeply emotional at the same damn time they was just sitting there calm as hell. Didn't say a word. That's Pisces, bro. And see, a Pisces can be patient, but at the same damn time, they can reach a limit. They could be waiting in the line at Wingstop that's taking too long. Guess what? Then the Pisces will say something like, what are y'all doing back there? Where the Pisces will make the employees get into their rightful positions. Who's the manager? Okay, well, you take my order and the rest of us that are waiting. And then the two in the back, you should be dropping the chicken. What are y'all all standing up at the desk for? And then all of a sudden, Pisces then end the cycle. The bullshit stops. Next you know, The two workers in the back are the ones dumping the, frying the chicken. The manager is taking the orders because they're short staffed. Now it's running correctly. See? But the Pisces will literally observe first, connect the dots. Okay, find out who's the problem. And then the Pisces will say, I've been watching you for the last 20 minutes. And you ain't been doing shit but on your phone. See? See, that's the thing. You think the Pisces won't say nothing because when you saw them, oh, they were calm as pie. Next thing you know, they snap. But they assert themselves, and now you're like, oh shit. Damn, I didn't even know you had it in you. But it's like, no, don't test me. See, it's just take my damn order. Don't have me waiting for nothing. See, I got a place to go. I got a flight to catch. That's my favorite little slogan, by the way, even if I don't have one. I say, it's just funny. It's funny to hear myself say, I got a flight to catch, man. It just sounds funny. But anyway, another thing is a Pisces can be open-hearted, but at the same damn time, they can be guarded. See? Another thing, they could be optimistic, but at the same damn time, they could be reflective. See? Another thing, a Pisces could be flexible, but at the same damn time, they could be standing by values. They could be curious on one end, and at the same damn time, they could be content. See, a Pisces could be romantic, but at the same damn time, they could be practical. See, they could be trusting, but at the same time, they could be discerning. They could be expressive, but at the same time, they could be reserved. See, and this is the thing people fail to realize. And then that ain't even all. See, that's just the extremes. Now I'm gonna tell you guys about the growth. See, one thing Pisces teaches themselves through experiences is healthy boundaries, learning how to set healthy boundaries. Then the Pisces starts to balance the empathy with self-care. See, because the empathy is not always to be used on somebody else. Sometimes you have to use your own empathy for your own feelings and emotions in your life. See? So nobody talks about that. Now, another thing is that a Pisces will start to trust actions as well as words, but actions first. See? Now, a Pisces can let go of unrealistic expectations. They can speak up sooner. They can start protecting their emotional energy. They can start to choose peace without avoiding problems. They may start to stay creative during challenges. They may also build confidence, and they also can be accepting that not everyone will understand them. See? So that's what a Pisces knows, and that's from the growth aspect. Now, another thing with the water, people that say you're a water sign, they say, oh, Pisces, oh, because they're a water sign, they're a water element. Well, what does that mean? But I'm going to tell you. So the water represents the emotional depth. See, just how deep it goes with the emotions. Pisces emotions are super, super, super deep. That's why nobody can feel where a Pisces coming from, because it's so freaking deep down in the depths that nobody is willing to go that deep with a Pisces because they'll drown. See, they'll drown because they won't be able to feel where the Pisces coming from. It would drive them crazy. Now, the two fish symbolize different life pools. Different life pools. See, you could be in one point of your life where the fish pulls you way off into a direction or path for your life that feels extremely uncomfortable for you, but you got to go through that in order to obtain a degree in school, or you get dragged into a different state. Now you got to live in a whole new state other than the one you were born in. See, because it's better jobs, less distractions. But you don't be knowing why you're constantly pulled into these different situations. See? But you got to know that when you constantly got things in your face, you can never really see, oh, where you need to go. See? Where you should be. Now, another thing is that the flowing water symbolizes adaptability. Swimming upstream symbolizes perseverance. The fish going upstream is usually the one you want to, that's the one you want is going upstream, but you cannot just depend on the upstream. See, you can't just say, oh, well, it always got to be upstream and just forget about the other fish. No, because the fish going downstream, see, is the acceptance. Because look, you got to know the fish going downstream creates you to be humble, not to forget where you came from. See, and it's like you can literally be on the up and always going upstream, and then oh, you're not appreciative all of a sudden because you're used to being up. You see, so you got to know the fish going downstream teaches you things, and the swimming with the current symbolizes acceptance as well. Because when you swim with the current, what are you up against? Nothing. That means you agree. That means, okay, I'm cool with the flow. See? And why would you go against the flow within yourself if there's nothing blocking you? See? If nothing's blocking the flow, then go with the flow. A lot of people you hear, oh, never go with the flow. No, you don't want to do that because, yeah, you're just of course you're accepting it, but what if that's the peaceful way? See? So you have to know that. Now, reflection symbolizes self-awareness. When you go to reflect, you're like, okay, I've come very far. I- You know, I used to be this way. Now, I see growth. You need to self-reflect. If you don't reflect and you start to what? It makes you pessimistic. You start focusing only on the bad stuff when you don't self-reflect. Self-reflection requires you to look at the good things. Okay, I'm nothing like I used to be. Yeah, I got a couple things got to work on, but I'm nothing like I used to be. See, that's self-reflection. That's healthy for you. Now, the ocean symbolizes the possibilities. So you got to understand, it's not just the Pisces in the symbolism, it's the whole ocean. And you know what people see? They see the Pisces, of course, right? But they do not see the freaking ocean, bro. And knowing how the depths of the ocean is, and here's the thing. That's why when people don't even see how big the ocean is, that's why they can never connect with you. See, they can't connect with you how you would want them to connect with you. It's like, oh, they're not willing to go that deep because the ocean. They're afraid of the possibilities. See, nobody wants to create something that's never been created, that doesn't exist yet. That's going into the depths. That requires you to have a certain type of feeling that, oh, I want to make my own software. I want to make a freaking Android app. I want to make an Apple app from scratch. And it's like, oh, where did that come from? The depths. See, you got that fish pulled you into that direction and said, create something. See, and then you just listen to your intuition. And then as soon as you put it out there, nobody believes. See, nobody is thinking in that deep depth, see, of emotion. They're not even there. And the funny thing is because they don't exist. You got to understand that's why they can't see it. They can't see that this is going to be a big thing. So they're already what? They're just living, but they're not. What I'm saying is the existence, they're not seeing it, they're not seeing the light like you are. They're not seeing the vision. They're not even there. That's why I said they don't exist. They're not even present, and you're like, I know you lying. Do you know this is gonna be a huge thing? And people look at Pisces like, what are you talking about? Because they don't see it on TV yet. They don't see it being on shelves yet. And it's like, bro, one thing about that, when it comes to that, you have to be in that ocean with that Pisces to see the same shit. You have to be in the same environment. You have to be in the same mindset. You have to be in your subconscious. See, to even see the things what Pisces sees, because otherwise you will get confused. Now, another thing is that the waves, they symbolize the changing emotions. Every single thing of which I mentioned on one end, a Pisces having one thing connected to another thing requires a certain amount of energy, which, the emotion changes for that particular thing. Now, the circle of the fish, what you guys see, the little circle with the two fish, that means the life cycles. The life cycles. Remember, I said the fish that you see in the depiction, in the symbolism, that's the life cycles. See, the only cycle that doesn't stop is the Pisces. See, the Pisces has the duality constantly moving, but here's the thing: nobody knows what direction it's going into, because Pisces is like a storm. Pisces is like a hurricane. It comes and then everybody notices there. They're like, oh shit, they can feel that the wind blowing harder. They can feel, oh damn, we're getting, things are flooding, all this stuff is happening. Because if you don't see the storm, you were supposed to evacuate. But now you're going to be dissolved. See? Because no boundaries. You have to know the Pisces is coming to what? Refresh your mind. Rebuild something here. You got to understand, like, a lot of people think, oh, damn, there's a hurricane coming. What's the name? Obviously something, and then boom, it hits. But then once it's over, the storm leaves. Damn, where did it go? Something just came and just tore everything up to smithereens. And now where did it go? See, as if it, and I'm going to tell you, people wonder what happened to the damn storm. As if, oh, it was all a dream. They think, oh, it's almost like it never happened. Like, oh, because could you imagine you telling someone, oh, damn, a hurricane just came? If the news didn't catch it, guess what? They wouldn't even believe you. Where is the storm? Oh, it left. What do you mean the storm left? Same as Pisces. Pisces can tell you something and it won't make sense to your human brain because you just can't see them doing it. It's cold-blooded. You can't see the storm doing what it's doing, and it can make you doubt that that is the storm doing all that shit, bro. All that flooding, all that wind, and all that stuff coming from that storm. But you cannot see the storm, bro. You get what I'm saying? The storm, you can't look and say, oh, that's the hurricane. No, you can't. See? And that's what people, when they hear you come up with stuff, with ideas, Pisces, when you play music for folks, they can't see, oh, it's you, Pisces. You're just talented. They're looking past you like, oh, you got some type of shit hooked up to it. They looking to see if you got cheats on or some type of way that you're coming up with the gifts, the talent. They'll try to say, oh, no, he doesn't know this stuff. And yeah, I bet he has this. People start to say you're doing something else because they don't see the storm doing its thing. They just don't want to give you credit. That's all it is. They just don't want to give you credit. They don't want to say you're brilliant, you're a genius, man, dude, you're this, you're that. They don't want to give you flowers. That's all it is. See? But that doesn't mean just because they don't give you the flowers doesn't mean you're gonna stop. See? That's the thing. That's the lesson. Now, another thing The two fish together symbolize balancing compassion with wisdom. See, compassion and wisdom. That's what I'm saying. So Pisces will always protect themselves. They will always be in a situation where they'll have peace. See, because everything through the spiritual cord keeps the balance. Now, another thing is that let me see here. See, one thing that comes with Pisces is lessons. See, lessons for the entire zodiac. So that's why Pisces can be everything that you want or everything that you hate. See? So you don't know what's going to come from it. You don't know whether or not, okay, is this Pisces coming into my life to start a new thing, or is this Pisces coming into my life to end cycles? Life cycles. Life cycles is you having a bad habit, tearing something up. You could be the type of person where you are, you get blessed, but then you end up ruining it because you have this pattern going on. So you meet the Pisces and you don't even know they're there to extinguish that behavior. They're there to stop you in your tracks in order to heal you. But if you refuse the healing, they'll take you out. You end up getting locked up. Something will happen supernaturally to where it'll show like, damn, his time was up. See, he was doing that with everybody else, and then boom, the last one had to be the Pisces. Now, oh, you're a Pisces? And that's why I always used to tell people when people thought that I was just bullshitting. I tell people all the time, find out who's around you. Because if you don't know their sign and you like, yo, you're a Pisces, they start to, you become suspicious. Well, oh shit. Damn, Trey told me about this. If a Pisces is around you, you better be thinking about, hey, either a cycle is gonna get in, tear your new a-hole, or something's gonna happen to where, yeah, and I'm telling you, because listen, a Pisces can spy on you, bro, to where you could think, oh, they don't have it in them because they're quiet the way you see them behave, and then they surprise you because they have two things at once, bro. See, you can never just look at one thing, and I'm gonna tell you, oftentimes you will look at just one thing. See, you look at one side because that's what they showed you, but you forget that it's another fish that's coming with something else in its extremes. So that's what ends up surprising you is the fact that you underestimated the Pisces for one thing and you didn't know, oh, something else is going on too. See, now another thing is this. Aries energy, when we look at the different traits of the other zodiac signs, okay, and how Pisces carries the traits. Now, it doesn't mean that Pisces, you know, people have it misconstrued with the misconceptions. All it is that Pisces carries the traits of all the 12 zodiac signs, okay? Now, one thing about it with courage, the courage to start over with Aries. See, that's how Aries energy operates. Now, the thing about it is Pisces can reinvent themselves after setbacks. See, so that's the same type of energy that Aries has. See, because Aries will have the courage to start over. Oh, something doesn't work, a plan doesn't work, a goal doesn't work, boom. They're just quick to say, okay, I'll start over. And then Pisces has the same thing. Now, with the quiet determination that Aries has, well, with Pisces, a lot of times this is how Pisces surprises people with resilience. Because you can literally break a Pisces down, meaning you could break their spirit, you could fire them, you could do all these just crazy things to a Pisces, and they will come back stronger. See, because that's why I said if Pisces were an X-Men character, it would be Wolverine. Because as soon as you try to hurt a Pisces, they heal instantly. It's like that's when they actually are using the empathy in the correct way. So they start using it on themselves. It's like an antidote. So it's like boom, they just end up healing themselves. Boom. And then you gotta be careful because there are Pisces that have went up against great leaders in the higher prestiges. Because what I mean by that, I'm talking about spirits. Because one thing about it is you could have a Jezebel spirit. Okay, boom. I don't know if some of you are familiar now with Jezebel spirit, but let's say you have just a off the chain attitude, just have a bad spirit whatsoever. Boom, you come up against a Pisces. A Pisces will dissolve that. No, no boundary can stop a Pisces, bro. No boundary. Because every single boundary, Pisces dissolves, bro. So you can have rules, limits, your own terms. And guess what? A Pisces would not abide by them, will not follow them. If anything, the Pisces will end the cycle. See, anything that happens more than once, continuous rules, Pisces will wipe that. Listen, a Pisces will literally cause a situation to happen to where now there's new rules. You can't even use the ones you started and you had them for years. That's what we call the symbolism, the symbolic way of the storm coming in and just changing the whole freaking place upside down to where there's new workers, there's new uniforms, there's a whole new policy being made that is nothing is operating the same way it was because the Pisces dissolved all boundaries. You could tell a Pisces, look, this is how we do it here. You clock in, you sign you sign the timesheet, you do this, you do that, and you call the phone. Guess what? Pisces gonna do every single thing you said in their own way. Because they're gonna find shortcuts. You gotta understand, a Pisces is not gonna do it the hard way. They're not gonna do it the way that, requires more labor, more backbending. They're gonna find the easiest way to do their job. By the way you train them, they're gonna say, okay. But then, like I say, they will cut corners, they will make shortcuts. See? It's still gonna get done, but they're gonna do it their own way. And the problem with it is that people end up hating Pisces because they're not listening to their way of doing things, if that makes sense. See? Because even if you do it right, Pisces, in your own way, they're gonna say, oh, well, that's not the way I told you to do it. Because now you're stepping on my toes and now you're trying to take over my establishment. See? Because guess what? What you make, Pisces, becomes the best thing. See? It becomes the best idea for the other staff and they follow your lead. And it's like, oh, yeah, would you know? This actually makes things easier. And now the boss is mad. See? Because the influence is so strong. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. The influence is so strong from a Pisces that it dissolves all boundaries. So if a Pisces does something and shares, oh yeah, this is easier to do it this way. Do you know how many people will literally listen to the Pisces like, yo, then it's like a 12 disciple type of situation where everybody's like, yo, the Pisces is mad. He's super, super smart. This, and that. And then the boss hears about it. And guess what? He wants to get rid of the Pisces because the influence is so strong that it's almost like I say, it magnifies the lamp in the sky, like the Batman symbol becomes the Pisces symbol to where, oh, when is the Pisces coming to work? We better look up at the damn sky and see the lamp to know if he's here or not, or she's here. But that's just the thing. Now I know it sounds like I'm, you know, hitting the gas pedal with Pisces, but I'm trying to tell you guys this because the thing about it is that's just how Pisces are. And this is the thing. A Pisces can protect their loved ones just like an Aries. They can become, very courageous when someone they care about is threatened. They can have a competitive spirit when motivated. They oftentimes can work hard for meaningful goals, and they also have an independent streak. So here they can sometimes, need space to think. Now with Taurus, as I mentioned, Taurus has a love of comfort. They have appreciation, for beauty, loyalty, patience, persistence, and so does Pisces. See, Gemini, curiosity, adaptability, humor, storytelling, enjoying conversation, and so does Pisces. Cancer, nurturing, protectiveness, emotional awareness, family values, and deep empathy, and so does Pisces. Now, Leo, appreciate the star Sedona. Well, Leo, their energy, they have creativity, generosity, desire to inspire, a big heart, and confidence that grows with experience, and so does Pisces. Virgo energy, paying attention to details, wanting to help others, self improvement, practical problem solvers, and they're very reliable. And so is Pisces. Now, understand this now Pisces are reliable. The thing about it is whether or not they'll be late could be a situation as well. But like I say, Pisces has the traits. They're not the actual sign. Okay. Now, another thing with Libra, where Libra can seek fairness, had the diplomacy of they could be able to do things in their own way. Um, they can appreciate, have appreciation for harmony. They can be romantic ideas, and they can see both sides, which and so can Pisces. Now, Scorpio energy, they have the emotional intensity. They stand on loyalty. They have a strong intuition, and they also are able to have that personal transformation and ability to recover after a hardship, and so can Pisces. Now, Sagittarius energy, they have the optimism, love of learning, spiritual curiosity, big picture thinking, and adventure. So can Pisces. Now, Capricorn, they have they're disciplined when they're focused. They can have responsibility. They can be very responsible. They have long-term thinking. They're good at planning. They're good at, definitely running the show, running, they could be a good manager, good instructor. They're very good at being, involved in work, in other words, even at the highest tier, the highest status. They also can build something meaningful, and so can Pisces. Now, Aquarius energy, they come up with original, innovative ideas. They're big on independence. They can have humanitarian interests. They can think differently, and they can have, like I say, just bright ideas and just really good at inventing things. Now, or starting things. Now, another thing is like I say, so can Pisces. Now, when it's a Pisces and another Pisces, compassion. See, both have, compassion, imagination, adaptability, forgiveness, and spiritual reflection. Now, the thing about it is, we know Pisces to be the 12th sign, okay? So, Pisces in itself symbolizes the life cycles and the completion of the cycle. It's cold blooded. So, a lot of times you could see the pattern, but if the pattern doesn't complete, it gets what? Dissolved. It stops there. See? Because the thing about it is, the pattern can become what? An illusion. It can become an illusion because it's almost like, oh, when is it going to end? When is it going to reach the level of the completion? When is it going to complete itself, the cycle in itself? So it stops when it doesn't, it's not moving, it's not doing anything, meaning constructive, nothing's good coming from it. See? So when this happens, that's why Pisces becomes last, bro. It is the final completion of the cycles, bro. Every single sign has a cycle, bro. See? And like I say, that's why you got to be on your purpose, because it's a lot of things are in your actions, okay? So as soon as you start something, boom, you start off on the wrong foot, you're not going to get very far. See? So the very thing, that's why Pisces ends yours, because they know theirs. They're the last sign, so they know, okay, I know I'm gonna finish my stuff. But you, on the other hand, if you're not gonna finish, let me end it now for you. See? And Pisces knows the ones that are just, taking up space, doing nothing with time. See? Now, another thing of why this happens is because if you do not complete the cycle, Then guess what? That's when the Pisces integrates the lesson. See, because you literally, this is what most people are trying to escape. That's why they draw the illusion. They act as if they're trying to complete the cycle. And then Pisces comes on the scene. Nope, you can't do it that way. Boom, hits them with the lesson. Then they end up going back to the drawing board, and here's what they say to themselves. Just like the dude with the bone. Oh, damn, this didn't work on the Pisces. I can't use this anymore. See? And then they end up wanting to do it the right way from scratch. See? They want, and that's the whole key lesson that Pisces integrates. Now, another thing is that this can affect relationships. See? Because when you get with a Pisces, they're gonna be focused on that completion. They're gonna want to take it to the next level. They're gonna want to get married. They want to do, go further with it. And then when you hesitate, I'm not really sure if I'm ready to do all of that. Guess what? Pisces is gonna dissolve all boundaries and end it right there. See? Because what are you doing? You're creating a pattern. You're creating an illusion that, you want to be in a relationship, but you don't want to go all the way. You don't want to complete the cycle. See? And the Pisces instantly, boom, distinguishes the situation. See? Now, it integrates the lesson. Now, another thing, Pisces may relate to many different personality types. This can affect the relationship. Now, a Pisces can empathize with many different people from different backgrounds. It don't matter who you are, what you look like. They can sometimes adapt their communication style. Now, here's the thing. One thing about Pisces, okay? So, one thing, see, life throws at everyone different perspectives. See? So, you got to know exactly how to correctly see something for what it is in its truth to end the cycle. Because that's all we really going through is life cycles. And then the problem is you got the facade and then you got the illusion. The illusion is just that, you're faking it. You're not really trying to finish anything that you start. Otherwise, you would just simply do it. You will finish what you started. That means completion. That's like going to high school pretending pretending to excel, but you're really planning on failing. See? And it's like, why would you do that? You're just taking up space. You're just taking up an empty seat. Why not just drop out? You see what I'm saying? Like, why not just drop out? And then when you're ready to take this seriously, then just come back. See that? Pisces is the type of person that's like, okay, you know what, man, get out of here, bro. When you want to come back and take it serious, then we'll talk. That's how Pisces is, cut and dry. See? And it's constantly cut and dry, never rinse and repeat, if that makes sense. See? Because if you're not gonna have a second chance, because that will be the illusion. What are we creating? Are we creating illusions or are we completing cycles? See? That's how it goes. Now, another thing is now I'm gonna talk about what are the things that Pisces hates. Now I cover how why people hate Pisces, but now I'm gonna talk about what are the things that Pisces hates. Pisces hates fake people. Fake people, bro. Like, and this is the craziest thing because it's like cringe. Okay, it's like if a Pisces come across a fake person, guess what's gonna happen to you in your cycle? They're gonna integrate the lesson that you must be real, fam. If you want anything real in life to happen for you, be real. And guess what? If you be fake, a Pisces is gonna cut you off in such a way, no matter if it's from a job, it don't matter. They're gonna be on your heels once they recognize you for being fake. The next thing a Pisces hates is liars. See, if you tell a lie, that's your last time telling a lie. Because the Pisces gonna be, like I say, gonna be on you. See, hold you accountable, in other words. Now, the next thing is betrayals. Pisces hates betrayals, broken promises, being taken for granted, disrespect, manipulation, mind games, dishonesty, being underestimated, arrogance, selfishness, bullying, cruelty, gossip, drama, loud negativity. See, it's a difference between being negative and then being loud with the negativity. So it's like if you loud and you negative, oh man, Pisces gonna really be trying to end your cycle ASAP. See, and that's the thing, like you gotta know that you don't really know how the Pisces is going to end your cycle. Because the one way a Pisces knows how to end the cycle very well is what? In a storm. See? And that's the thing. When the storm hits, you don't realize it's the Pisces. You think some shit going on in the job, but you don't know it's the Pisces, the one that sent the shit, the one that actually caused it. See? Because when a Pisces start Pisceing, you got to understand, the- just as if you look at the symbol of a hurricane, it starts spinning. See? The cycle, the life cycle starts to spin. See? And the thing about it is, the Pisces at this moment is literally saying, okay, I'm about to dissolve all boundaries. I'm done playing. See? So now you can't hold on to anything to save yourself, see, from the storm. There ain't no, oh, tornado, hey, put your hands over your head and get down low in the basement. No, you cannot hide. You're getting swept away, fam, because of the behavior. The reason why a Pisces has to do this because the illusion. If you get a piece of what was fake, you will create a mask. See, you will create a facade with that little piece because, oh, it's better to have a little crumb of my bullshit because I can make a mask with that. I can make a facade. So that's why a Pisces come with the storm and just literally wipe your nose clean to start a new thing. See, to start a new thing because you cannot use that anymore with Pisces. That what the Pisces caught you red-handed with, it's gone, bro. That's your last time. Like you gotta understand. You think, oh, I only did it one time. That's all you get. See, that's all you get. Because Pisces, when it comes to those illusions, they shatter them like glass. Because listen, if a Pisces coming from you, you think a mirror gonna save you? No. You can't reflect. Ain't nothing you could do to stop. Ain't no barrier gonna stop that Pisces gonna come straight at you. See? And every single thing you try to put up, you try to deflect, it's not gonna work, bro. You could try to deflect, you could try all those. See, you gotta understand, deflection doesn't work on Pisces. And I'm gonna do a video about this. You can't use deflection, you can't do witchcraft, you can't do voodoo, you can't do guru, you can't do nothing, yoga, no type of special nothing, because bro, dissolving all boundaries is any type of defense mechanism other than what? The lesson. The lesson is, oh, you ain't gonna wanna do that shit no more after the Pisces is done with you. Because a Pisces brings a storm. The storm is that the Pisces, listen, it's in this extreme. They would either get on, listen, I didn't seen Pisces just mutate into a full aggressive hawk machine to the point where they might put their hands on the person. They might go to jail that night. They might do something that gets your attention like, whoa, catch you off guard to where they come for you. They coming for you, bro. It ain't like, oh, you can brace yourself. You know when it's going to happen. No, that's why I said none of the other things such as the things you can't see doesn't work. Because of one thing, how do you not know that it was a spiritual cause in the first place, or why they were sent in the first place? Could you imagine? It could have been years, and next thing you know, the fish pulls in that direction to go apply at that job just to fire your ass, just to expose you. I'm gonna tell you a true story too. I knew a Pisces woman. She worked in the hospital, and they did some dirty shit. They had somebody in there that I'm talking about a patient. had like literally went in the room, hung himself, right? Boom. And it was because a nurse went to sleep, left the patient all alone, and then all of a sudden they try to pin it on the Pisces, say it was the Pisces' fault. Bro, you know when she sued them, bro? She sued them. But here's the thing: what sent her there in the first place? She doesn't know. You might think it was you apply for that job, but you were sent there just to sue them. That's the storm being sent, and everybody's like, "Yo, who is this?" Damn, they just came, and then all of a sudden, everybody got let go, and then the place shut down. That's exactly what happened. It shut down, bro. She sued them, and they shut down, and it was just like, "Yo, what just happened?" Oh, you talking about the new lady that just started? Yeah, man, the Pisces. No way, man, no way. She couldn't have just came here and just cleaned house like that. See, that's the thing. People don't think, oh, a Pisces can literally cause a situation like that to happen, bro, to where the place shuts down, bro. See, I'm telling you, you gotta be careful, man. Because one thing I always say, it's one thing to drown, but it's another thing for a Pisces to leave you in a different realm. See, you could have your head and your brain could be in a whole nother realm, but then your limbs is in this timing to where did his head go? Well, I guess he lost his mind. I don't know. Well, who caused it? Well, he was talking to the Pisces. Next, you know, his head ended up behind the big screen. No, his head ended up behind the big screen. So damn, we probably thought he was the guy in the glass, stuck in the glass. What's his name? Zordon from Power Rangers. But it is what it is. But yeah, okay, so by the way, I'm not, yeah, but yeah, okay. So a Pisces can be uh they hate being rushed, they hate being ignored, they don't like empty words that have no substance. They don't like emotional manipulation, being controlled, people who only call when they need something. Users, narcissistic behaviors, two-faced people, being lied to repeatedly, fake friends, jealous people, one-side relationships, people who lack empathy, negative energy, toxic environments, public embarrassment, being misunderstood, having their kindness mistaken for weakness. That's a big one because most of the time that's often what people think they can do. Gaslighting, ungratefulness, emotional games, constant complaining without action, being interrupted, fake love, mindedness, intentionally hurting others for no reason, broken loyalty, false accusations, being blamed for everything, seeing innocent people mistreated, aggressive personalities, double standards, fake smiles, attention seekers, broken family trust, constant negativity, disrespecting their privacy, loud chaos, insincerity, being underestimated after helping people, people who waste their time, fake loyalty. So it's just like I say, injustices of any kind, being lied to, uh, being lied about, losing their inner peace, repeating patterns of disrespect. So we all know anytime a person does something again, see, so if they disrespect you one time and you allow it, they're going to do it again and again and again. Why does the Pisces end their cycle? Because one thing, when the illusion sets in, see, the illusion requires energy, see, and it needs a pattern as its energy source. So you don't want the cycle to get momentum and get stronger because if it's a pattern of disrespect and you keep on tolerating it, it's going to get stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And guess what it turns into? An illusion. But guess what you mistake it for? A boundary. And you don't know that the boundary was not a healthy boundary. from the start. How did it get there? See, through people tolerating that person's behavior. That's why the Pisces gets sent to end the cycle, because Pisces is the only one that can end it. Because Pisces dissolve all boundaries. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Pisces dissolve all boundaries, meaning all illusions of other people, even their own illusions. The only way a Pisces won't dissolve the boundaries, the illusions, is if they're delusional. But here's the thing: when they're delusional, it's not that, oh, they didn't know. See, they just didn't want to change it. They didn't want to change anything. They wanted to keep the situation going. Now, it could be for entertainment purposes. It could be anything. Why the Pisces didn't, oh, why didn't you do anything about it? The Pisces could have been feeling weak. They might have not been recharged enough to even have you know, the energy to stop it. So they could act like they didn't see it. It's cold-blooded. So here's the thing. That's why they say Pisces take the rose-colored glasses off, because you're trying to delay this thing of ending the cycle, as if you're trying to save the person, knowing they are a bad person. But a Pisces really just doesn't have the energy when they're coming off delusional. Now, as I mentioned, you do not want the cycle to gain momentum. So if the person is disrespecting you and you let it slide, they're going to do it again and again and again. Once they get comfortable disrespecting you, what changes? What changes them? The lesson. So you have to, at that point, dissolve all boundaries. And you're going to do that anyway, whether you want to or not, Pisces. See, because you know why? Within you and your life cycle, you're going to say to yourself, damn, why did I let this situation go too long? See? And then part of you is going to say, that's because the rope was long. So- and then you're going to say the rope was long. Oh, so you were just giving them rope. Oh my God. Give it up for the Pisces, man. You had given them enough rope to hang yourself. I get it. Damn. And see, you thinking you pulled a fast one, you thought you got away with that disrespect, but little do you know, the Pisces oh, just give them a little bit more. Give them some more, give them some more, because listen, the worst thing to know is that you created an illusion that the Pisces knew you created. And giving you rope makes you think that you're doing something. You think you're getting somewhere. All the while, you have a toe tag on your damn. You got a toe tag there, buddy, to where you don't know. The Pisces just waiting. This is going to be the Pisces pulling the rug from under you, because you're going to be like, yo, I thought I was creating an illusion. All of a sudden, he had my cycle the whole time in his hands. See? It's almost like say the magic word. Next thing you know, the pipe pulls and then the illusion ends. See? It ends, and then so does what? The boundary dissolves, because there's nothing there. It was never nothing there. So I always tell people, like, be careful, because if you let somebody get away with something, it's going to turn into an illusion. Now, the sad part about this is that the Pisces knows, oh, this got out of hand. See? But the sad thing is, if you're not a Pisces, you might think the person is really built like that. You might think that, oh, I better watch out for him. You might become, intimidated by that person who has gotten away with being disrespectful for too long, until they meet Pisces. Doesn't matter if you're a female Pisces or a male Pisces. Once they meet you, the first thing the person's gonna say is, "Oh, who the hell is you?" Well, hey, I'm just a Pisces, man. I don't know what's your problem, man. Why you so mad? And then you forget. You think the Pisces is this soft, oh, Beckenbauer, oh yeah, cop and plea type of person. And then they have that on one side connected with the firmness, but they're not letting you see how strong they really are. Strong enough to dissolve all your boundaries, your bullshit, your illusions, and literally shatter the whole idea that you were strong with it, only to show you your weaknesses. See, behind it, letting you know, oh, it wasn't even a strong illusion anyway. See, because people will project. They want so bad to project things about them that are not the real them. See? So another thing, Pisces hates fake friends. Um, like I say, losing their peace and being underestimated is one. So here's the thing. One thing that a lot of people do not know about Pisces is Pisces loves conflict. It's cold-blooded. See, that's why if a Pisces gets with another Pisces, it doesn't always work because it's not enough conflict. It's not enough conflict. See, Pisces doesn't want somebody that is so good, and Pisces doesn't want somebody that's so bad. Pisces wants somebody that has salt and pepper, a little bit of both, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. See, because a Pisces has to see the duality in you. See, that you like pancakes, but then you like chicken and waffles. And like sometimes you might put everything on the same plate. See, that's more of a Pisces speed. Because if you only can hold one thing in your hands and that's it, Pisces like, no, I don't want this thing. You can't keep up with me. See, and that's the thing. Pisces loves conflict, bro. Because if they didn't, guess what? How would you be able to end a cycle? See, how would you be able to end a cycle? Some of the females might say, period, but it is what it is. But the thing about it is, see, people think that a Pisces hates conflict, but no, Pisces loves conflict. Now, what they dislike is betrayals. At least if you own the type of shystiness that you have within you, that's different. A Pisces would appreciate if you owned it, but a lot of people won't. See, and here's the thing: Pisces cannot stand fake energy. Fake energy is wasteful. See, it's almost like you doing all of that for nothing. What is the benefit? Now, anything that repeats itself, especially if it's coming from a bad situation, a bad behavior, that any type of that type of situation that repeats, you're gonna piss the Pisces off and they're gonna get on your heels, bro. I'm telling you, if you keep doing something and it's annoying, people, you just think you're getting away with it, a Pisces is going to stop you. At some point, you're going to meet a Pisces and you're going to become surprised that Trey told me that if I come across a Pisces and I've been doing something, getting away for so long, it stops when you meet that Pisces, bro. Because that's your last time, bro. It's your last time. And that's why I had to learn this the hard way. I had to learn this the hard way because when I looked at Pisces, I thought, okay, this is just one thing I'm seeing. And then me being a Pisces, I said, oh shit. I'm thinking this dude is one way. Next thing you know, he comes with a whole nother side of him that I never got to see. And I was wondering why people was telling me he's nothing like what you think. He's nothing what you think. He's nothing like what you think. So I'm like, okay, well, what is he then? And then I checked the CCTV cameras and caught him red-handed, bro. He will show up to work and then he'll clock in, then he'll disappear. And then I caught him one time I was in the office and I seen him looking over the thing to see if I was in the office. And then he went back into his little hiding spot. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, all right. Hmm. Interesting. See, that's all I needed to see. So what I did was the chairs in the office for his shift, which he worked the morning shift, me and the Scorpio used to do this where we would literally fold the chair forceful and literally lock them underneath the table, like not with a padlock, not with any type of bracelet, uh, not with any other type of lock, but or lock device, but we just pushed them under the table to give first shift a hard time because they'll have a hard time pulling those chairs out because they will literally be stuck underneath the tables. Now, this was just some type of thing we used to do the first shift, just being an asshole, really. But I did it to the Aquarius and I did it to the Pisces. Don't you know? By the next time I had to work, I was fired. It's cold blooded. See, and that's why I say you don't never know who's watching. You never know who's doing what. Just know Pisces was in the mist. See, in the midst of the water, it's like, yeah, I believe he checked the CCTV and told. See, oh yeah, he set up because they knew that the chair trap was for them. See, because I was getting back at him. So you gotta understand, like, who would really sit there and connect the dots. Another Pisces would be a genius at that. See, so you got to be careful. Now, another thing is, let me see. Now, when it comes to Pisces hating fake people, it's not just like because I know a lot of people might say, well, what fake people or what does that really mean? Okay, so a lot of times, as I mentioned, Pisces would rather you just be authentic, just be yourself, just be who you are. And and here's the thing: a lot of people just can't do that because it's conflicting. They don't like the conflict, they don't like the chaos, they just don't like it. So the thing about it is that instead of being themselves and being conflicting and just simply accepting it, they would rather pretend like there's something else, if that makes sense. So we know that's how the facade comes because now, oh, I don't really want you to know when I'm such and such and such and such. I'd rather you just know all the good things about me. So I'm gonna put this mask on so you never get to know who's underneath. See the real me. Now, one thing about it is that if you try to use the facade and the Pisces knows what you're doing, well, obviously they will. No trust whatsoever is given, see, to you. Because now a Pisces knows, okay, I have to shatter the illusion that you also have because now you want me to believe that you're so, oh, so goody two shoes. Now, let's say a friend compliments you in person, but then talks negatively about you when you're not around. And this happens often. Well, the Pisces will quietly distance themselves instead of confronting the situation. So that's even worse because there's no closure and you don't even know why the Pisces stepped away from you. See? But now that right there in itself, it leaves you with this uncertainty. It leaves you with anxiety. It leaves you with, oh, damn, what happened? What happened? As you want to so badly figure out why the Pisces left your side, even if you didn't like the Pisces. Because some people just want closure. They want to know, why you left or whatever the situation was. Now, a Pisces will hate a liar because trust is already hard to rebuild in the first place. So once it's been repeatedly broken, once it's broken the first time, it never comes back. It never comes back. The trust never comes back the same anyway. So let's say that somebody says, they're working late, but then later on you end up learning that they weren't truthful about that. So boom. Next thing you know, the Pisces just starts to question the future statements from that person, moving forward. If you're being questioned by anyone, just know they don't trust you. That's obvious. You just like if you got somebody asking you where were you and you need to, log in and tell the times, they don't trust you. Just simple as that. Now, why do Pisces hate betrayal? Because betrayal can feel especially painful because it oftentimes comes from someone that you trusted. So when it comes to the close friends, that's why I said you got just as many friends as you can fit in your pocket. So when you have a close friend, always remember that the friend comes with an ending. It's cold-blooded. The friend, though, in the word, when you spell it, it has the end. See, with it. And many people don't know this. So a friend has, oh, friendly gestures. They be friendly to you until they either want something more than being your friend for it. Boom. They'll just end it. See, it ends there. Now, that's just my spiel. And I've seen this happen because it's better for you to have family or have, people that you adopt to be family to where you're like, okay, you're not just my friend, but you're my brother or something like that or sister. It's better to go with those terms and get to that point other than saying, oh, we're just friends, because your close friend is the one that will get you, the close one. See? And you always want to, I'm gonna tell you, you probably already been thinking about this. Oh, why would the close friend do me like this? This supposed to be my boy, or this supposed to be, my sister, or whatever the situation may be. And you're like, damn, why did they do me like this? That's the thing. See, the snake is is I'm gonna put it to you like this. The snake can bite you only if it gets close to you. See? But you have to identify who the snake is first to not even allow it to get that much momentum, to even get that close to you and to bite you. See, it can only bite you if you trust it, because that's the only thing that's going to allow you and this person to get closer. And that's the very thing that you have to wait on before you trust anyone. It's because you don't know if you're trusting a snake. You cannot trust a snake because it's a snake. A snake is always going to do what a snake does, bro. See? So it's almost like you cannot think the snake would do something different. Most people think this, like, oh, if they think that, oh, I know this person is shiesty, but then why are you still calling them? Oh, they haven't bit me yet. See, it's like you don't think it's not coming or something. Like, they're gonna snake you out, bro. You just see, when you know someone's a snake, you have to cut them off, bro. First, see, before they cut you off first, because it might not be you coming back from that. See, now the friendship may never feel the same again after a betrayal. So obviously, if someone betrays you, you're not supposed to never get back cool with them. See, now, why do Pisces hate broken promises? Is because repeated broken promises can make words lose their meaning. See, so let's say somebody promises to show up, then they cancel every single time. The Pisces may just stop relying on that person altogether. Now, if a Pisces is in a situation where they take it for granted, when somebody gives consistently without appreciation, they may eventually feel overlooked. See, so a Pisces can always uh be in a situation where they might feel like they got to invest their energy elsewhere, okay, because the person keeps on checking in, and it's like, boom. It's like, if a Pisces check in and then nobody checks on them, they're gonna leave the situation anyway. Now, manipulation. A Pisces they hate manipulation, and here's the thing: manipulation replaces honest communication with pressure or guilt. See, this is a subtle situation. See, and I'm gonna tell you the easiest way to know whether or not somebody's being manipulative is when they start to pressure you or you start to feel guilty. It's cold-blooded. See, if you just focus on that alone, you don't need to know what is said to you, because guess what? You will feel it first. You will feel pressure. You will feel guilty. How do we know this to be true? Let's say somebody says, oh, if you cared about me, you'll do this. Now you start thinking, oh shit, he said if I cared about him, then I would take them. And, oh, so if I don't take them, then I must not care. Feeling your emotions require so much energy. And this is why it's so hard to manipulate Pisces, because Pisces absorbs. See, first, they filter everything through the emotional depth of which they feel. So you say something to a Pisces, you try to make a guilt trip, gaslight, whatever the situation is. Oh, if you cared about me, you would do this. Pisces will match your energy and ask you the same shit. Well, if you cared about me, you would do this. And now the person is all choked up because, oh, they don't know what to do to that. They expect you to respond like that. So when you give it back, now the person either gets manipulated, feel the same thing that the person inflicted it on. So that's the thing. Now, over time, that's how the trust ends up decreasing, and then the distancing just starts to grow and grow and grow. Now, why do Pisces hate being controlled? Because, like I say, healthy relationships allow both people to make choices. If you try to take the right away from Pisces and you try to take the whole option of them making a choice, you're screwed because they don't like being controlled. You got to give them room to make a decision. You got to give them room to make choices. See, let's say a partner tries to dictate who the Pisces could talk to and where they could go, for example. Then the Pisces just starts to feel emotionally trapped. See, that's what I'm trying to say. They feel emotionally trapped because they absorbed it. It's cold-blooded. Now, why do Pisces hate emotional games? Because mixed signals. That's what emotional games are. They're mixed signals. So mixed signals can create unnecessary confusion. And here, let's say somebody tries to alternate between being very affectionate and then suddenly distancing themselves without an explanation. Now, boom. Once this happened, the relationship becomes emotionally exhausting afterwards. See? And remember I said, your emotions carry so much energy. So if anything you absorb, it can literally make you tired, exhausted. And it always pulls energy from other people. So sometimes, Pisces, you could be with people and not even know you're absorbing. And see, when a person starts to vent, you started it because you started absorbing. Then they ended up just feeding you, see, information, emotions, because, oh, you absorbed it. So now you know how everybody feels. So that's why the best thing, Pisces, is to balance this, what you will, balance it to where you might have to become alone. You might have to get to yourself for some time. So that way you're not constantly absorbing all day. Because if you do that all day, what will happen is you will become consumed with other people's what? Emotions, feelings, situations, drama, whatever they tell you. See, so it could become emotionally exhausting. Now, why do Pisces hate disrespect? Because respect, it forms the foundation of trust. So here, let's say somebody repeatedly starts to talk over you as you speak, and then they end up dismissing your opinions, okay? So the Pisces will choose to spend less time with that person. Anytime you do something, the best way to end a cycle, to dissolve all boundaries, is to simply detach. See, your energy in your focusedness upon a person creates a reaction, see, to their behavior. Most people, that's why they don't get the lesson that they need from you, Pisces, is because you react. You're not supposed to react. But when you react to a person behavior first, now you end up allowing yourself to get disrespected. You allow yourself to um then you start to realize, okay, I got to take my energy with me away from this person. Once the person realizes they don't have your focus or in your energy, they stop. They fizzle out. See? So that's one thing. Now, why do Pisces hate being underestimated? Because being underestimated, it can motivate someone to prove themselves enough through actions rather than arguments. Now, Let's say a coworker assumes they can handle an important task, and then all of a sudden the Pisces focuses on the results instead of trying to convince others. See that? So a Pisces can care less what you think, your suggestion, how you feel. They're always going to go to, what they're actually doing instead, okay? And another thing is when it comes to, let me see what else I got for y'all. Okay, so we covered that. Now, one thing else I wanted to say is let me see what else I got for y'all. Let me see. And if y'all got any questions, I know I probably missed a lot, but I'm still here. Okay, let me see. Yeah, we like a person to be authentic because, like I say, uh yep, I'm a Pisces, Jose. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, if you bring a truth to someone, another thing I watch, I will say this. If you bring the truth to someone, be careful because when this is why people use deflection. Okay, so if you bring the truth to someone, 9 times out of 10 they'll try to deflect. And I'm gonna tell you, like, that's a usually when somebody deflect, they use the pride. Okay, pride is at the hand, it's at the root of it. So um if you really get into the truth or bringing the truth to someone and then they deflect, boom, it kind of makes you feel like, oh, what I said, it was used against me. See, it's like in order for that person not to accept the truth. So that's the whole, that's the whole key there. And see, you got to be careful what you say during a person deflecting, because usually it's done on purpose to take the focus off of them and what you said. See, because let's say you came with the truth and then boom, the person tries to shift the attention. And why would they do this? Because you brought the truth to them. So now they want to shift the attention away from their own actions. And it could be in regards to you bringing the truth. Because anytime you bring the truth, you're bringing the light, see, upon their particular situation. So when you bring the light, you start to reveal things. You start to reveal the real them and anything that they're hiding. So mistakes, responsibilities, in any of that. So one thing about accountability, this is what deflection hides. So let's say you confront somebody for lying, boom. Instead of them admitting it, what would they do? See, the problem is that they would say, oh, well, you lied too. That's deflection. See, and here they say Pisces does this through mirroring. Because if I match your energy and I say, oh, you come to me with something, and I say, oh, you do it too, it could be considered the same thing. But here's the thing, when you do this, you're stalling. So this is a form of manipulation, and people don't know this. When you stall, you are trying to what? Control and delay the time. See? And it could be from you saying something or for them or from them saying something. So the issue never gets resolved when people use deflection. That's what it's done for, is to waste time, to stall. And stalling is a form of manipulation because, like I say, if someone wants to know something, they need to know now, and you're telling them, oh, wait a minute, I'll tell you in a second. Hold off a second. Now they're trying to control you. See? Now, deflection creates confusion as well because, like I say, if a person, simply asks, why did you disrespect me? Why are you always so defensive? Those type of terms, or why are you always sensitive? You may have heard that one before. And that can make you start to defend yourself instead of discussing the original problem because of a person reacting, trying to, become defensive. Now, when it comes to deflection, it also makes you question yourself. See, it messes with your identity and who you know yourself to be. Now, let's say somebody breaks your trust, boom, next thing you know, instead of apologizing, they say, you're just overthinking everything. See how that's like a gaslight? That's like a situation to try to make you take the focus off of them and their actions onto yourself. See? So if you allow it, it can make you question yourself in such a way. And you start wondering if you're the problem. See? And that's another trick. You got to be careful with that deflection. Also, here's the thing. Deflection is used with the facade. Deception. See, it's in the same neck of the woods. Deflection protects one thing, and that one thing is the ego. But Pisces dissolves all boundaries. So guess what? Deflection does not work on Pisces. See? So the ego, a person cannot admit that they were wrong, is the ego. See? All day long. If you see, I rather say it this way because a lot of people don't understand what the ego truly is. See? They're like, oh, echoes. Echoes, the ones you put in the toaster, right? No, that's not the hell what I'm saying. When you look at a person and they have this ego, that means they cannot admit that they were wrong. See, about anything. And see, what do people in their ego, what do they do the most? They stress. See, they blame. They talk about the traumas, oh, what happened when, when I was a kid, and they suck you into these emotional type of stories. And see, they're trying to simply control you. See, by trying to get out of the whole, question interrogation of their ego and the whole mere fact of them not admitting their wrongs. See, so again, as the time wastes by, as the time goes by, nothing changes because the responsibility is never accepted. Now, if a Pisces falls for deflection, okay, now the only way that a Pisces will fall for deflection is by misusing compassion. See, because if you were to become compassionate for the person, the very thing, the trick that they can get you to do is to start explaining yourself. It's cold-blooded. See, if you put it like this, if you start to explain yourself, you're in trouble. Because now you're questioning yourself and your judgment. And see, once you start to question yourself, you start to explain, it takes the power out of your words. See? And then that's what makes a person start to disrespect you. See? Because you let them get away with it. They start doing all the things I just mentioned. They disrespect you, then they underestimate you, all because they got you to what? Question yourself, going back to the identity. See, people that know themselves don't explain shit. Even when they're asked, they say, "Oh, I know who I am." See, but if you start explaining, "Oh, I'm this, I'm this. Oh, I'm a good person. Oh, I'm this. I got yeah, yeah, yeah." And you start trying to convince somebody to believe what you're saying because you don't have what you don't even believe in what you're saying. Now, another thing is okay, so just know with deflection, be very careful with deflection, you guys, because the ego is like literally. See, the problem why people get away with their ego being involved into a situation is because they don't. The problem is that they don't admit to anything. So you think, oh, boom, if they do it one time, you might fall for it because you're like, oh, well, they didn't do it, and then you think, oh, they really did. They really didn't do it. You don't question the mere fact that they did do it and hold them accountable. So it's like if they deny it, you instantly trust them and think that they were telling the truth. And this doesn't even matter if it's just a Pisces. I'm saying for everyone, it's like you just don't want to uh allow it to happen once you know the person is in their ego, operating out of their ego. Now, let's say the person says, "I cheated on you because I was hurting," or "I cheated on you because I was hurting," instead of focusing on the whole betrayal itself. Now, if you start trying to focus on comforting the other person, you're in trouble. See, after the person just did you dirty. So it's little moments like that you gotta be careful about because, like I say, a person can trick you in such a way to get you to start questioning yourself, to start they could put you in a situation to trip you up to make you start doing something that takes away or eats away at your identity, in other words. Now, to know if somebody's deflecting, watch out for people that change the subject often, because that's a known symptom, a known behavior of deflecting, okay? Also, they start to blame others for things. They also bring up your past mistakes instead of talking about, the current issues or the current, successes of your life currently. They may oftentimes try to guilt trip you. They play the victim to avoid responsibility. They never answer the original question that you asked of them. And a lot of times they end up attacking your character instead of discussing the behavior. So those are all signs of someone, using deflection. Now, one thing about it, I'm not saying that you should stop uh having compassion for others. That's not what I'm saying. But the lesson here is to recognize compassion being used against you. See, you got to know that there's some people that can use the same type of gifts and that you have, but use them in a different way. See, and it's like you got to be careful because a lot of times people can literally work against you in such a way where you don't even realize they're doing so. So another thing you want to do is if a person got accountability, this solves everything. So if a person just willing just to say, "Oh yeah, it was my bad," or "Yeah, I did this," and just take account, this dissolves all boundaries because then the ego can't be there. The facade, the illusion, the disrespect, all this stuff has to go. Once you learn to just be truthful, it literally costs nothing to be truthful. See, but if you don't, it costs you everything. See, so that's just my spiel. But subscribe if you haven't. Smash the like button. I love y'all. Catch y'all on the